One of the big myths that we hear about in divorce is whether the fact that somebody has cheated affects the division of assets and liabilities in divorce. In reality, it generally has no effect whatsoever. A court is going to look at the division of your assets and liabilities like a business transaction. They are not going to get involved in the emotion that you may have over your spouse cheating. Now, the one exception to that is if somebody has spent a good amount of money from the community assets on the person they're cheating with. So if they were taking them on big trips, spending a lot of money, getting them an apartment or a house, buying furs and jewelry, now maybe we're going to look at that, but that is considered theft from the community estate. It's not going to be looked at as they're cheating, so we're going to punish them. But if they stole from you, that's something a court will consider. If your spouse is cheated, you're probably pretty angry. And you may think that the fact that they cheated should affect child custody, whether they get custody of the children, whether they get to see their children. But in reality, a court is not going to look at whether your spouse cheated. They consider that an issue between the husband and wife and not affecting the kids. The only exception to that situation is if your spouse has been cheating with people who would be considered inappropriate to be around the children, if they've made really bad choices about who they're seeing outside of the marriage. For instance, if there are prostitutes or people that are taking drugs, now we're looking at whether it's safe for these other people to be around the children, not just the simple fact that your spouse has cheated. One common myth that we hear a lot is that people believe if your spouse is cheated that you will automatically get spousal maintenance for some period of time. But that's really not the case. A court is only going to look at the requirements of spousal maintenance as it relates to you. Do you have enough assets to meet your minimum reasonable needs? Can you work? And finally, can your ex-spouse support you in any way? Only after you've met these first couple of requirements on, do you need it? Can you provide it for yourself? And if you need it and can't provide for yourself, then we'll look at whether your ex-spouse has the ability to pay you. Whether your spouse has cheated has no effect whatsoever on that. Child support in Texas is calculated on very set guidelines that have to do with the paying parent's income after taxes. Nothing else gets considered. So if your spouse has cheated on you, that's not a factor in child support. The courts are going to look at the guideline. They're going to look at how much your spouse makes. They're going to give them a little credit for taxes and also credit for providing health insurance. And it's going to be a set calculation after that. Those are some of the myths that we hear about cheating in divorce. If you have any questions about this, please give us a call at DeFord Law Firm.